Want to watch Batman fight a full-size animatronic dinosaur? Or face off against Shego from Kim Possible with her Chippendales dancer henchmen? Well, Mean Seasons might be for you. A new villain named Calendar Girl appears at a fashion show in April and kidnaps the head designer, Donna Day. The only clue she leaves behind is a calendar with the current month and day circled. Beyond that, there are no leads. When August rolls around, another attack occurs at the Gotham Motors Auto Show. Now wearing a different outfit, Calendar Girl looks to kidnap Barclay James, the spokesman for the company. Batman tries to intervene, but the Rogue and her henchmen get away with their target. Again, she leaves a calendar at the scene of the crime. Barbara and Bruce do some digging on the Batcomputer and find out who is likely behind Calendar Girl's mask, but they have no idea when the criminal will show up next. If you're a longtime Batman comics fan, you probably know who Calendar Man is. He was created in 1958, but is most well known for Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's classic 1996 limited series, The Long Halloween, and its sequel, Dark Victory. There, he was developed as a cerebral antagonist for the Dark Knight after being a much lighter character in earlier appearances. Calendar Girl is an obvious take off that character, but her alter ego and motivations are very different. While she works great in this story, one wonders how Calendar Man would have functioned in the DCAU. According to a few online rumors, he was slated to make an appearance at some point, but after his female counterparts episode, those plans were scrapped. A big running theme here is the onset of aging and how that affects the characters. We see Bruce grapple with this a bit in a few scenes. There's a storyline involving one of his employees at Wayne Enterprises retiring at the mandatory age of 65. Bruce is surprised when he finds this out, thinking the employee, Bernie Benson, is younger. This leads to Wayne pondering his own age, as we see him look for gray hair in a mirror. Later, he also comments on some archive footage that dates him.
I do remember. Pretty girl.
Don't you mean woman? She was your age when she made that commercial, Bat Boy.
Yes, that is a little dig at the term girl from Batgirl of all people, but it does get Bruce thinking even more about ageism. This concludes in a scene where Wayne cancels Benson's retirement.
I'm changing the retirement policy. You can work here for as long as you can do the job.
Yes! TMS was in charge of most of the production, which is why Hiroyuki Aoyama was in the director's chair for this one. It's a good-looking episode with a few standout sequences, like Batman fighting that dinosaur and some nice match-dissolve transitions. The action is also very impactful as Batman and the Chippendales dancers take some wince-worthy abuse. This was Aoyama's only TNBA directing assignment, but he did direct a few Superman TAS episodes. Hilary J. Bader penned another unique-feeling script off a story by Rich Fogel. I'm really appreciating this pair's work on these latest rewatches. Their stories, especially Bader's, feel refreshing and present a different perspective that wasn't always in the original series. Calendar Girl's true identity is revealed to be fashion model and actress Paige Monroe. Her face was everywhere for a few years, but that all changed when
she turned 30. What are you gonna do?
Batman and Batgirl interrogate her former agent, Irv Kleinman, and find out that after leading a failed sitcom, Monroe disappeared. Rumors even went around that she was horribly scarred in a facial surgery. October then arrives, and with it, Calendar Girl resurfaces. This time it's at the Gotham World Broadcasting Network's fall season upfronts. As GWB advertises their new slate of programs, the villain and her muscle make an appropriate entrance before going after network executive Frederick Frowner. Batman and Batgirl burst in to stop them and chase the group outside onto the studio backlots. Calendar Girl has the one-up on the crime fighters, though, as she sicks a robotic Tyrannosaurus Rex on them. When the dust settles, our heroes barely make it out with their lives, and Calendar Girl is gone. Later, Barbara discovers that Paige Monroe still owns a defunct nightclub called Faces in Gotham's redevelopment district. At Monroe's hideout, we see she has all three of her captives tied up, watching a slideshow that blames them for her downfall from the entertainment industry. She walks out in a black costume with a scythe, aiming to celebrate the Day of the Dead by killing Day, James, and Frowner. Just before the final blow, Batman and Batgirl arrive. When an image of her young and beautiful face is destroyed on the projector screen, Monroe is distracted, leading Batman to finally take her down. Calendar Girl and her thugs are arrested. While in handcuffs, Harvey Bullock rips the mask off her face, revealing a still beautiful woman. She screams in agony, crying for no one to look at her. Batgirl is confused by this development.
She's beautiful.
She can't see that anymore. All she sees are the flaws.
I got early Clayface vibes from Calendar Girl. Both Paige Monroe and Matt Hagen were known for their looks at the peak of their popularity and fame. Hagen's career doesn't derail because of his age, but his appearance is the major factor. Where his disfigurement was physical, Monroe's ended up being mental. Despite all the apparently successful plastic surgery she underwent, she still feels as if she's hideous and wants no one to even lay eyes on her face. Body dysmorphia and the industries that perpetuate it in a lot of cases are very mature subjects for the new Batman adventures to take on. While this isn't necessarily as dark as what the BTAS era may have done with the idea, it still feels like a solid, heavy message was given the spotlight in Mean Seasons. The casting couch makes an appearance with Agent Irv Kleinman trying to put the moves on an innocent young actress. This was always a well-known situation behind the scenes in entertainment, but it feels even more relevant now after the last few years.
Can't you see I'm in a meeting?
Meeting's been canceled.
GWB seems to be a parody of the WB, the same network the new Batman adventures aired on. Well, they aired on Kids WB, of course, their children's block. We get to see teasers for such surefire hits as Model Students, a drama about the pressures of modeling school.
So you weren't picked for the swimsuit issue. It's who you are inside that counts.
Malibu Vets.
The heartwarming adventures of a group of young beach-going veterinarians.
And finally, my favorite, Teen Cop.
You're busted!
Teen Cop, inner-city street drama with a fresh attitude.
Education rules!
Doesn't even seem that far off from a real show in the 90s. That's how good this satire was/is. All this just underscores how spot on some of this overall commentary was. It still holds up. The only small complaint I have about this story is the climax. I love the creepy slideshow Paige shows her victims and how she presents herself at the end of it. It's great visual storytelling. But when you think about it, Monroe kept Donna Day there since April, Barkley James since August, and we're now at the beginning of November. They were all taken on the dates they fired Monroe for being too old. I get that. I was just hoping for a bigger finale, maybe being broadcast on TV or something to show the world Calendar Girl's revenge. She did have a reason to try and display this to the populace since she was a famous face who she blamed her captives for turning into a hideous monster. It may have made a little more sense and justified Monroe keeping them for so long, but that's just my opinion. The climax still works as is. I'm going to recommend this one to you. Check it out with fresh eyes, and you'll see a few things that seem like they were written for today while being enough of a parody to not feel preachy. This season, or any other, Mean Seasons is a winner.